Welcome to The Deep Dive, the show where we take your sources, dig into them, and pull out the key insights so you're genuinely in the know.
Yeah, giving you that shortcut to understanding complex stuff.
Exactly. And today, we're doing a really unique deep dive. It spans from these, well, ancient, rediscovered religious texts all the way to, like, cutting-edge planetary science.
It's quite the range, isn't it?
It really is. Our mission is to explore two subjects that seem totally different, but are both, incredibly compelling. First, the Book of Enoch, this enigmatic text full of stories about fallen angels, giants, that kind of thing.
And then
Enceladus, Saturn's really intriguing moon, which has recently shown us it has its own hidden secrets.
So we're going from ancient lore to modern discovery.
That's the plan. We'll uncover the surprising facts in both, try to connect some dots maybe, and figure out why these deep dives actually matter.
Sounds like a fascinating journey. It really highlights, the difference between belief systems trying to explain the world and science actively exploring it, both trying to grasp what's possible.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, let's start with the Book of Enoch. I think for a lot of people listening, this might not be a text they've really encountered before.
Probably not, no.
So what exactly is it, and why is it considered significant?
Right. So the Book of Enoch, or sometimes called 1 Enoch, it's an ancient Jewish religious text. It's often described as apocalyptic.
Apocalyptic meaning?
Well, in this context, it means it deals with revelations, visions, prophecies about end times, divine judgment, cosmic secrets, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Tradition says it was written by Enoch himself, Noah's great-grandfather.
Right.
And its significance really comes from the unique material it contains, stuff you don't find in, say, the standard Hebrew Bible. It talks about the origins of demons, these Nephilim beings.
The giants.
Exactly, the giants. And it explains why some angels supposedly fell from heaven, why the Genesis flood was morally necessary according to this view, and even has prophecies about a 1,000-year reign of a Messiah.
So it's almost like background lore or an expanded universe for some of those foundational stories.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. It fills in gaps, offers different perspectives.
And the main story, especially in that first part, the Book of the Watchers, it sounds pretty dramatic. These fallen angels, the Watchers.
200 of them, apparently. They supposedly came down on Mount Hermon way back before the flood.
Okay.
And what's really striking is the detail. Their leader, Semyaza, gets them all to swear this oath.
An oath to do what?
To take human wives. And this union, this mixing, according to 1 Enoch, results in the Nephilim.
The giants again.
Yes, also called Anakim, described as great giants. Some interpretations of the text, based on the measures given, like 300 ells, suggest they were, well, enormous, maybe unbelievably so, like 135 meters tall, though other scholars think 13.5 meters is maybe more plausible if the original text was different.
Either way, huge.
Definitely formidable. And the text says they just consumed everything, all human resources.
Wow.
Then, when that wasn't enough, they turned on humanity itself, started devouring people. And even sinned against animals, eating flesh, drinking blood. It paints this picture of total chaos and corruption.
That's a, really disturbing picture. Rampant consumption, violence. And it wasn't just about creating these giants, was it? These Watchers, they also taught humans things, forbidden things.
Exactly. That's a key part of the corruption narrative, this forbidden knowledge. The text is very specific.
Like what?
Well, one called Azaz is named. He taught men how to make weapons, swords, knives, shields, breastplates.
Ah, so warfare technology.
Pretty much. And metallurgy, working metals, also adornments, bracelets, makeup, costly stones, things that led to vanity and much godlessness, as the text puts it.
So technology and vanity fueling corruption.
Seems to be the idea. And others taught different things. Semyaza taught enchantments, Armaros how to resolve them, Barakihal taught astrology, Kokabel about constellations, Ezekiel weather knowledge, Arakwel earth signs, Shamsiel sun signs, Cyril the moon's course, a whole curriculum of forbidden arts and sciences.
It's like they opened Pandora's box, but with specific lessons.
You could say that. It's a powerful ancient narrative about maybe the dangers of knowledge gained improperly or too soon, how it could wreck a society.
So the world is corrupted, overrun by giants. Humans are learning forbidden, possibly dangerous things. What's the divine reaction in the story?
All right, well, things get pretty bad. So the archangels, Michael, Uriel, Raphael, Gabriel, they see all this chaos and they appeal to God. They ask for judgment on the fallen angels and the corrupted world.
And God responds.
Oh, yes. Uriel gets sent down to warn Noah. tells him about the flood that's coming, the cataclysm, and instructs him how to survive, hide and preserve his family line.
So Noah's warning comes directly from this angelic appeal.
According to this text, yes. And then Raphael is commanded to deal with Azazel, the one who taught weaponry and adornment.
What happens to him?
He's bound hand and foot, cast into total darkness in a desert called Dudale, covered with rocks, basically imprisoned until the final judgment when he'll be thrown into fire.
Wow, harsh.
And the text explicitly blames Azazel for corrupting the whole earth, says all sin is ascribed to him.
So he's the scapegoat, in a way.
He gets a lot of the blame, definitely. The Book of Enoch also describes visions of judgment for all the watchers. They're thrown into a fiery abyss, a place of complete condemnation, and it's made clear their requests for mercy not happening.
A very stark picture of judgment. But, despite all this vivid storytelling, and you mentioned it's even referenced in the New Testament.
Right, in the Book of Jude.
It's not in most Bibles today. What's the story there? Why isn't it canonical for most Christians and Jews?
Yeah, that's a fascinating bit of history. It shows how canons, the official lists of Scripture, aren't always set in stone.
So it is Scripture for some.
It is. The Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church considers it part of their Old Testament canon, and it carries real theological weight for them.
Okay, interesting.
And back in the early days of Christianity, it was widely known. Early church fathers like Justin Martyr, Tertullian, they quoted it, sometimes positively, sometimes maybe less so. Jude quoting it is a big deal, obviously. But then some of its specific teachings, particularly about angels, maybe the nature of the Nephilim, started to cause controversy.
Right.
Some later church figures, like Philastrius, called it heresy. Even prominent Jewish rabbis like Simeon ben Giare back in the 2nd century AD apparently cursed anyone who believed it.
So it became controversial.
Very. And it sort of faded. It was effectively lost to most of the Western world and Judaism for maybe 1,000 years.
Wow. How did it come back?
It started being rediscovered by Europeans in the late 18th century. Travelers found manuscripts in Abyssinia, which is now Ethiopia. That's where it had been preserved.
By the Ethiopian church.
Exactly. But the really huge confirmation came much later, in 1948, with the Dead Sea Scrolls.
What did they find?
In Cave 4 at Qumran, they found 11 fragments of the Book of Enoch, written in Aramaic.
Aramaic. So the original language.
Well, evidence of a very early version, certainly. It proved it was genuinely ancient, pre-Christian in its origins, not some later invention. That was massive.
A lost book. Rediscovered.
Oh.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Now, before we leave Enoch, you mentioned something about a son of man.
Right. That's primarily in a section called the Book of Parables, which is part of 1 Enoch, though its dating is debated. It introduces this figure, the Son of Man.
Like in the New Testament.
Well, there are parallels, which is why it's debated. This Son of Man in Enoch is presented as a supernatural Messiah figure, a judge of the whole world, someone who existed before creation, has universal power, and even sits on God's throne.
That sounds very significant theologically.
It is. Scholars argue about it. Did later Christian scribes add this part? Or was this a pre-existing Jewish concept of a messianic figure that influenced later Christian thought? Some even think it might have come from a separate, earlier text about Noah. It's complex.
Okay, so that's the Book of Enoch. Ancient, controversial, rediscovered, full of fallen angels, forbidden knowledge, judgment, and these giants.
The Nephilim, yes.
Let's pivot slightly to that idea, giants.
Yeah.
The book gives this vivid, supernatural origin story. But does this connect at all with other historical accounts or, dare I say, physical evidence outside of this one text?
That's where things get really interesting, or maybe speculative, depending on your view. There are connections people draw.
How so?
Well, take the island of Crete. Historically, it was apparently also known as Arcadia. And an ancient historian, Eustathius, who is referencing Herodotus, so we're going back, stated that Crete used to be called Gigantus.
Gigantus? Like...
Exactly, the land of giants, because supposedly giants live there.
Huh. Was that a common belief?
It seems to have been known. You find mentions of giants, sometimes connected to Crete or other places, in writings by figures like Diodorus Siculus, Pliny, Strabo, Plutarch, even Plato. So it wasn't just Enoch talking about giants. The idea was around in the classical world.
Okay, so the idea was there. But any tangible finds? Bones, tools?
Well, this is where accounts get perhaps less verifiable, but they exist. There are reports, historical claims, that some of the largest human-like bones ever found were discovered on Crete, lending some credence maybe to that land of giants name?
Maybe. And tools.
Yes. On Crete, they found these massive double-headed axes, huge things. They're called labyrinths. That's the Minoan name. They date from around 1700 to 1300 BCE.
Labyrinth. Sounds like labyrinth.
Exactly. Some scholars think the word labyrinth might actually mean house of the double axe, linking it to the Minoan palace at Knossos where these were found. And interestingly, some ancient traditions even attributed the invention of the double axe to giants.
So tools may be too large for typical humans.
That's the implication some draw, yes. Tools fitting a potentially larger scale of being.
And these giant stories and alleged finds, they're not just limited to Crete, are they? You hear stories from all over.
That's true. Reports of giant evidence or supposed evidence are really global. You have accounts of fossilized giant footprints found in places like Sweden and Mexico.
Footprints?
Yeah. Then there are more specific documented anecdotes, though again, often hard to verify today. Like in County Antrim, Ireland, back in 1895, miners supposedly dug up a fossilized giant.
Not bad.
The report claimed it was over 12 feet tall, massive girth, long arms, weighed apparently over 2 tons, and supposedly had 6 toes on the right foot.
6 toes. That pops up again.
It does. Near Crittenden, Arizona in 1891, workers supposedly found a huge stone sarcophagus. Inside, a granite mummy case carved for a human figure over 12 feet tall, and the case itself reportedly had carvings showing 6 toes.
And the body.
Turned to dust, according to the story.
Convenient.
Often the case with these older accounts, yeah. And another one, a mummy supposedly unearthed near San Diego, California. This one measured 8 feet 4 inches. It was apparently displayed at an exposition, then sold off to a private collector and disappeared.
Vanished into a private collection. Another common theme.
It seems to be. There's even another text, sometimes associated with Enoch traditions, called the Book of Giants, which mentions a specific city on Crete, Serendopolis, supposedly once inhabited by giants, so the narrative persists across different sources and locations.
Okay, so these ancient accounts, whether you take them literally or, metaphorically, they definitely speak to this human fascination with hidden worlds, bigger realities, maybe monstrous beings right here on Earth.
A long history of that, absolutely.
But what if there are equally mind-blowing hidden worlds being uncovered, like right now? Not in ancient texts, but far out in space. Worlds that challenge everything we think we know.
You're talking about Enceladus.
Let's rocket out to Saturn. Tell us about Enceladus. What is this place, and why is it suddenly such a huge deal in the search for life?
Right, Enceladus. It's Saturn's 6th largest moon, but it's actually pretty small, only about 500 kilometers, maybe 310 miles across. A little icy ball, really.
Discovered a long time ago.
Yeah, William Herschel found it back in 1789. But for centuries, it was just, a point of light. We got some blurry pictures from the Voyager probes in the early 80s.
But the game changer was Cassini.
Absolutely, the Cassini orbiter. Starting around 2005, it started doing these close flybys, and what it found just blew everyone away.
It wasn't just another dead, icy moon, was it?
Not at all. Cassini discovered these incredible plumes, geysers essentially, spewing water-rich material out from the South Polar region.
How much water?
A lot.
Yeah.
Ejecting about 200 kilograms, that's like 440 pounds every single second. They've identified over 100 separate geysers.
Wow. What's in these plumes?
It's mostly water vapor, but also ice particles, salts like sodium chloride, molecular hydrogen, other volatile gases, and even simple organic molecules. Stuff similar in composition to comets. This material actually forms Saturn's E-ring, that faint outer ring.
So it's actively feeding a ring of Saturn.
Pretty much, yeah. But the biggest discovery related to the plumes came in 2014. Cassini data strongly indicated a large subsurface ocean of liquid water under the ice shell near the South Pole. Maybe 10 kilometers, about 6 miles deep.
An ocean under the ice.
Yes. And its existence has been backed up by modeling since then. Then, in 2015, further analysis showed it wasn't just a regional sea, it's a global ocean under the entire ice shell.
A whole hidden ocean world.
Exactly. And the crucial thing is those plumes. They're erupting directly from that ocean. They were giving us a free sample, blasting ocean water out into space where Cassini could fly through and analyze it. No drilling needed.
That's just amazing. A global ocean we can sample from orbit. So what's keeping it liquid? It's freezing out there.
Yeah.
And what does the surface look like where these plumes are coming from?
Good questions. The energy source isn't sunlight, obviously. It's primarily tidal heating.
Tidal heating, like Jupiter's moon Io.
Similar principle, yeah. As Enceladus orbits Saturn, Saturn's immense gravity constantly squeezes and stretches the moon. This creates friction inside, generating heat, enough heat to maintain a liquid ocean.
Okay.
Also, the moon's core seems to be relatively low density, suggesting it's porous and likely contains water mixed in with the rock, which helps water circulate and interact with the rock.
And the surface features.
The South Pole, where the geysers are, is unique. It has these long fractures. They call them tiger stripes informally.
Tiger stripes.
Yeah, they look like giant claw marks across the ice. These seem to be the youngest features on the moon. And right on these stripes, you find fresh, crystalline water ice and also simple organic compounds, carbon-based molecules that aren't seen elsewhere on the surface.
So the activity is clearly linked to these features. And this ocean, how long has it been there?
Estimates suggest it could be around 1 billion years old, so it's potentially been a stable liquid water environment for a very, very long time.
Okay, let's connect the dots. Liquid water, check. An energy source, tidal heating, check. Organic molecules, check. You know what question comes next.
Does it have the ingredients for life?
Exactly.
And this is the really profound takeaway. Enceladus seems to have all 3 key ingredients for life as we understand it. Liquid water, energy sources, both heat and chemical, and the necessary chemical building blocks, including complex organics.
What kind of chemicals specifically?
Well, the plumes contain salts, silicon nanoparticles, which is strong evidence for active hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor.
Hydrothermal vents, like deep-sea vents on Earth.
Precisely, places where water interacts with hot rock creating chemical reactions. These vents on Enceladus would release heat and chemicals into the ocean. We see evidence like nitrogen as ammonia, methane, propane, acetylene, formaldehyde, all organic molecules.
Wow.
And crucially, Cassini detected molecular hydrogen, H2. That's a potent food source for certain types of microbes, like methanogens, which exist on Earth. They can literally live off hydrogen and carbon dioxide.
There's even potential food down there.
Potentially, yes. Add to that, the ocean seems to be alkaline, probably due to water reacting with the rocks, similarly to some life-supporting environments on Earth. And they found phosphorus, another essential element for life, and very recently, evidence for hydrogen cyanide, HCN.
Hydrogen cyanide. Isn't that poison?
To us, yes, but it's also considered a really critical precursor molecule for synthesizing amino acids and nucleic acids, the building blocks of proteins and DNA.
So, wow.
Yeah.
Water, energy, organics, food sources, key chemical building block.
The whole checklist seems to be ticked. It makes Enceladus arguably the most promising place in our solar system beyond Earth to search for existing life. It completely changes how we think about habitable zones. Life might not need to be on a rocky planet near a star. It could be thriving in a dark ocean under ice miles deep.
That is just, yeah, a total game changer for astrobiology. Given this incredible potential, what's next? Are we going back?
There's huge interest, obviously. Numerous mission concepts have been proposed, things like sample return missions.
Bringing plume stuff back to Earth.
Exactly. Missions with names like Life Investigation for Enceladus. Imagine analyzing those ice grains in labs here. There are also ideas for landers, maybe even probes that could somehow melt through the ice eventually, though that's very long-term.
Ambitious.
Very. But what's also interesting is that some of these mission concepts are attracting private funding interest, too. It shows just how compelling this little moon has become, not just for scientists, but for, well, everyone fascinated by the possibility of life elsewhere.
So let's try and bring this together. We've gone from the Book of Enoch, this ancient text rediscovered, talking about a hidden history of Earth involving angels, giants, forbidden knowledge, a kind of lost world narrative.
A narrative trying to explain origins and corruption through supernatural means.
Right, and then we jump light years away to Enceladus, a tiny moon revealing its own hidden world, this vast, warm, chemically rich ocean under ice, bursting with the potential for life. Revealed not by prophecy, but by scientific instruments.
Two very different kinds of hidden worlds, revealed in very different ways.
Exactly. Both stories, though, they peel back layers, don't they? They challenge what we thought we knew about existence, about what's possible.
I think what really stands out is that constant human drive to understand what's hidden. Whether it's looking back at ancient myths and texts to understand our past and the origins of, say, evil or extraordinary things.
Like giants.
Right. Or looking outwards with incredibly sophisticated tools to find literal hidden oceans and maybe even life millions of miles away. It's the same fundamental curiosity, isn't it?
Yeah, using different toolkits for different unknowns.
And both force us to broaden our definitions. What counts as knowledge? What counts as life? What are the real limits of existence? These vastly different deep dives, one into ancient belief, one into modern science, both push those boundaries.
And maybe they also make us question what we mean by truth. Is it found in scripture and tradition? Is it found through observation and data? Or is there room for both kinds of exploration in understanding our place in the cosmos?
It's a powerful reminder, definitely. The universe, our history, even tiny moons. They hold so many more mysteries than we've solved. There's always another layer to peel back, another deep dive to take.
A journey that seems to be just beginning, whether we're deciphering ancient texts or analyzing starlight from distant worlds.